Welcome back to K-Chat with me, your host, Kayla Morales. We chat all things from love to life to business, spirituality, health and wellness, and everything in between. This is a space of growth and meaningful connection. And I'm so excited to chat with you all today. So let's get into it. Today's just an episode with me. I'm going to be sharing a story. It's like a story time with Kay. So basically the story I'll be sharing today is about a very, at the time it was like the worst audition I had ever had. In a really funny way though. It wasn't like devastating, it was hilarious. But yes. So that's the story we're getting into today. Before we do that, I just want to chat with you all for a sec. I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode with Kelly on shadow work and manifestation. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's a goodie. And yeah, if you're new here, if this is your first episode that you're listening to, welcome! I'm so happy you're here. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this story. I hope you enjoy the other episodes. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, to the YouTube, and yeah, come along for this journey. I'm happy to have you. So before we get into that, I kind of wanted to talk about Daunte Wright. May he rest in peace. I normally don't really speak on these things. Sometimes I'll share posts on my Instagram, but I haven't spoken about any of these lynchings. Let's just call it what it is. I haven't spoken about any of these on the podcast yet, and this is the first time. And I just wanted to clarify, like, the reason I haven't talked about any yet, or the reason I don't really talk about it in general, is it's not that I don't care. It's that I care so much, and I'm just fucking tired. Like, I'm not talking about being tired after this time. I've been tired. Like, I'm fucking over it. I'm confused as to how we haven't evolved as a society past this. I'm like, it blows my mind that we can still be harming others in such a blatant and disgusting way. But at the same time, I understand that raising awareness and speaking about it on your social media platforms and wherever else, I mean, obviously, like, in your community, within your, circles, I'm sure you speak about it as well. For me, speaking about it on Instagram is, yeah, it's great to raise awareness, but I'm also fearful of it because it also plays into the agenda of, like, dehumanizing Black men even further, right? Like, every time we read an article or every time we see a video, I just, like, pictured like a few, every time we do that, we kind of, it like chips away at us a little bit, and I know that that's not the purpose of sharing it. I know that, like, I understand the value of raising awareness. It just worries me to further dehumanize humans and to further dehumanize Black men especially. So I don't know, it just scares me. It scares me for my partner. It scares me for, it honestly makes me not even want to have children. So I'm just over it. And, but yeah, rest in peace to Daunte Wright. And yeah, I'm beyond talking about it. I'm ready for, like, some extreme action, which, yeah, I don't really need to talk about on the podcast. So, yeah. So I wanted to just, like, mention that for a little. I don't even know how to transition out of that. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of divided between hoping for the best and hoping that like we really overcome as a collective, as a society, as like a race, as a planet. I hope we can overcome all of this destruction and all of this behavior, but on the other side of things, I feel like I'm split down the middle where I just don't see a solution, and I'm just like really freaking over it. So, not to be negative, but that's just like the reality of it, and that's my perspective. So if I don't talk about these topics a lot on the podcast, it's not that I don't care. I'm happy to have these conversations. Hit me up, like message me if you want my perspective on it. I just a lot of times feel like there are no words. There are no conversations to be had. Like, to me, it's just like, what the fuck are we raising awareness on? Like, the first time was too many. Like, so I don't have any words is what I'm saying. That's why I'm not speaking about it. I have nothing to say. I don't understand why it hasn't been done with already. So yeah. So yeah, let's get into some story time. So I want to do a little bit of story time every once in a while with you guys. Just as a way for you guys to kind of get to know more of my journey, and yeah, for us to connect, right? So as many of you may already know, if you've been following along, my kind of chosen career path has been acting and modeling. And so acting has always been a big passion of mine. And just to give you a little backstory before I get into this audition story, is that my goal has always been to do film work, creating like shows, creating movies, creating short films, that sort of thing really lights me up. And it really excites me, every aspect of it. But everyone who's in the industry understands that you can't just kind of like have your hand in one thing. Like if you're acting, you kind of might have some modeling jobs as well, which modeling jobs also include like commercial jobs. So that's kind of where the money is at, you know? So as I continued growing in my acting career, I realized, okay, I need to kind of dabble in modeling as well. And commercial work, of course. So, but with commercials, it's a little whatever to me, because for me, I'm just more comfortable on like video versus like print or like still photos. I'm just like, I don't know what it is. I just get so uncomfortable. So anyway, so this audition was a few years ago, and it happened to be like my first modeling audition, go see, whatever you want to call it. I'm not even sure, because I literally had never really gone modeling auditions. So I'm like hyped that I got the audition. I booked it for myself. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do my best. Like I kind of maybe Googled a little, like, what should I bring kind of thing? What should I wear? Whatever. I wore this cute little black outfit and some heels, you know, and then I had like my headshot and my resume. I didn't even know if that was like the materials they were expecting. You know, I didn't know if they were expecting like a portfolio or something like that. I had no idea, and I didn't have a portfolio. So I was like, you know what? They're gonna get what I got, because it just is what it is. So I get to the place, and mind you, I'm used to having auditions like reading a monologue, cold reading, reading off a teleprompter, like, you know. So I'm thinking, I don't know what to expect out of this audition, because obviously they're not gonna have me read anything. They might look at me, I was thinking, and they might take like maybe like a few digitals or something, like a few shots of me. So I was like, you know, okay, I'm kind of preparing for all of these things to possibly happen. And so I get in, and it's kind of like a little bit of a boutique, but also offices. And then I found out that they also have a studio in the back. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. They're like, how about you put on, so this is also for a bridal company. I'm not gonna say which, because I just don't know, but it was for a bridal company. And the job would be modeling like bridesmaids dresses and wedding dresses. And it was sort of like an e-commerce kind of thing. So simple, right? So they're like, okay, go ahead and put on a dress and put on some heels. And they wanted nude heels, and I was wearing black heels. So they had heels that were like too small for me, because I have big feet, I'm not gonna lie. But they were too small for me, so I was like, oh, it's okay, I'll fit into it. So whatever, I put on the dress, I put on the heels, and I'm like, damn, all right. Modeling for me, side note, is like really scary. It's kind of what I think people, and it's what I feel sometimes too when I'm like public speaking. Like I feel like all eyes are on me, and I have to come up with like nice poses, and I'm hella awkward. So whatever. I'm like hyping myself up this whole time though. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm not a model, so I'm totally okay if this doesn't go well. Like, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses. So anyway, I get in front of the camera, right? And so we have a few people in the room. We have a model in the room who's getting her makeup done. There's kind of like a little makeup area. So there's a makeup artist, another model, the girl that helped me change into my dress. There's the photographer. There's like the photographer's assistant. And then there's kind of like the main guy, the boss man. So the boss man's kind of telling me what to do. The photographer's kind of sitting there. I'm hella awkward. I'm just like, if you're on YouTube, you could see. If you're on the podcast, I'm sorry, I'm just hella awkward. But I'm just like kind of stiff, you know? And it's just awkward, and the energy kind of starts to die down, right? Like the boss man is kind of over me. He's like, she's boring. The photographer is like, fuck, I gotta take these photos, but like, she's like hella boring, and it's just not interesting to me. So the energy in the room was like fading, and I was just like, trying to keep it up, like, look at me. But I was not doing it, guys. And I was not feeling confident at all, which that shows like on camera, you know? So in the middle of this, the camera guy is like, oh, you're leaning, like, can you stand up straight? Can you stand up straight? He kept telling me to stand up straight, and I'm like, fuck, like I'm standing up straight. Like, I'm really trying to stand up straight. And then I realized, and then he's like, oh no, like, I mean, you're like leaning. And what I realized is, at the time I was going to the chiropractor a lot, and sometimes in between sessions, my shoulders would be like uneven, like my hips would be uneven, which would cause like my shoulders to be uneven. And so what he was seeing on camera was that one of my shoulders were like tilted, as if I were leaning into like my side or something, you know? And what I was feeling like I was standing up straight, because I was, but my shoulders were unaligned. So once I realized that in the moment, I was like, oh shit. Like, I wasn't gonna tell them that, like, oh, I need to go see my chiropractor. But I was like, oh, so like, which side am I leaning to? And they're like, your left side. And I was like, okay. So then I was trying to pose leaning, like physically leaning, intentionally leaning to my right side to kind of balance it out, but I still didn't know, and I couldn't feel, and I definitely couldn't look at my shoulders to see if they were actually even. So that was just like, I'm like, this shit would happen to me. And at the same time, remember, I'm wearing heels that are too small for me. So I'm trying to balance, I'm trying to be cute, I'm trying to get this job. And it was not going well for me at this point. So whatever, the momentum's still dying down. I think I'm in the same dress, or maybe I tried on like 2 dresses. But at this point, the momentum's still dying down. And I'm just kind of like, yo, when are they gonna tell me I can leave so I can leave? Because I know I did not book this job. Like, I know. And so as I'm having these thoughts and we're all just like over me, this gorgeous, I mean, I hate to use this term because I just can't think of something better. Actually, no, I'm sure I can think of something better. No, I'm just gonna go for it because it's just easy. I'm sorry to even use this. She was so much better than this. She was like a beautiful Barbie, like chocolate skin, like tall, slender. Like her hair was beautiful. She was like glowing. I swear she didn't even have, like, maybe she had a little bit of makeup on. She was like glowing, and she had a wedding dress on already. So she was already like dressed, ready to go. And, and she was the person there to audition right after me. So she was ready in her dress. And I'm not even gonna lie, when she walked, it was as if she was gliding. She was like, every step was just like, and I was like in front of the camera, awkward as hell, like, damn, she's a baddie. Like, oh my God, she's a model. Like, she is a fucking model. So I'm in awe of her, right? But the way the studio set up is that I'm facing the door that she entered through. So the cameraman, the director, everyone else is facing me. So they didn't see her walk in. So I'm seeing all this as they're seeing me awkwardly standing there, right? So once she gets to the point where she gets near the photographer looks up and he goes, "Oh my God," and says her name. And then they kiss, just like in the movies, y'all. I can't even make this shit up. It was so funny. They kiss. They knew each other. And so not only for sure she got the job because she's way better of a model. Like, if she didn't get the job, it was stupid. But I mean, maybe they hired her. I'll talk about what happens in the end. But so I'm just like, okay, so not only is she gorgeous, she freaking glides, she's like model bae, and then she also knows the photographer. So it's like, for sure I don't have the job at this point. Like, you know, I'm just in my head like, yo, let me go. Like, just let me change. Let me get out of here. Like, I'm good. Like, it's okay. I just don't want to waste any more time. I'm uncomfortable. You guys are uncomfortable. Like, let's end this. So anyway, she, I don't even remember. I kind of tapped out after that. But she goes ahead and she gets in front of the camera. It's kind of her turn to start taking her shots. And as she's doing that, I'm leaving. And I'm just like in awe of her. Like, she is so beautiful. And so when I leave, I call my mom and I'm like, yo, the funniest shit just happened. Like, it was straight up movie audition. Like, so uncomfortable. So many things went wrong. It was hilarious to me. Like, I was like, oh, I finally got that one audition story, you know? So a few weeks go by. I'm literally thinking, there's no way. I completely forgot about the job. But anyway, I ended up booking the job. Yep. So that was kind of like my first little modeling gig. And I didn't love it. I really didn't love it. But I was happy I experienced it. I was happy that that I did something that was really scary to me at first. You know, it was really definitely something out of my comfort zone. But once I did it, I like achieved it. Like, I checked that off my list of things to try to do, you know? And I would say, like, I would say that that's my advice for everyone. Like, I know it's stupid and it's kind of cheesy and it's like cliche, but like literally do something scary. Like do something that forces you to get out of your comfort zone. Because even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's like the worst experience, I'm telling you, you're gonna learn something out of it. Like after that audition, I was very okay with not getting the job. I was like, that's totally fine. But I experienced what a modeling audition would be like. I experienced what it would be like being around peers that are models, right? Because I've been around actors, I've been around theater folk, but I haven't been around models very often, right? I figured out what that kind of like, what the energy in that kind of room is like, right? How I feel in that kind of room. Why did I feel like inferior to this like gorgeous model, you know? I mean, I didn't feel inferior, but at the moment I was like, okay, she's way more qualified for the job. But I also realized about myself, like I'm okay with that, right? Because I know that that job wasn't for me. At least I thought it wasn't for me. And then by booking the job, I realized, wow, I perceived that whole situation incorrectly. You know, I read the energy in the room incorrectly. I thought that I was boring them. Maybe they were tired. Like, you know, it was early in the morning. Maybe I was boring them. Either way, they still saw that I would be valuable for their company and they chose to go with me for the job. Had I not gone to that job, had I said, oh, I'm not a model, I can't do it, one, I wouldn't have made that money. And two, I wouldn't have had that experience. I wouldn't have known that, okay, this is something I can do. Even if it's something that makes me uncomfortable, it is along the lines of helping me reach my goal with acting, right? It's gonna help assist me along that journey. And in that way, it's very valuable to me. Am I the most qualified model? Hell fucking no, I'm definitely not. And am I still awkward? Yes, but I'm reaching my goals, right? I'm making income doing things that I love to do. I'm setting up myself to kind of set up my skill set so that it could be valuable to further my career in acting, right? So I don't know, I just say do something scary, which I know sounds cliche, but yeah. Yeah, so that was my story time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna do some more story times. There's gonna be some juicy ones. I'm excited. But yeah, I'll do some more personal episodes with my perspectives on certain topics, and then also some story times. It'll be good. It'll be juicy. I hope you all have a beautiful week. If you enjoyed this episode, rate and review if you're listening to it on Apple. Subscribe, like it, do all the things wherever you're listening to it, on Pandora, on Spotify. If you're on YouTube, subscribe for the journey, and like it, leave a comment. Same with follow us on Instagram, and by us I mean me and the guests that come along. But follow along on K-Chat Podcast. And yeah, I think that's all. Bye guys. Thank you.